this amazing discussion that we're going to have today. It is 12:05, so we know we have lots of friends in the room, lots of friends on Facebook Live, but we're going to go ahead and get started. And to start us off, to talk about our partnership, to talk about one of our 8 essential outcomes, which is centered around digital safety, I am excited and happy and proud to introduce National Black Child Development Institute's President and CEO, Dr. Leah Austin. I'll turn it over to Leah to get us started.
Thank you, Allison. And I am just as excited as you are to be here for this special NBCDI virtual conversation. As Allison shared, and many of you know, I'm Dr. Leah Austin. I am the President and CEO of the National Black Child Development Institute. At NBCDI, we always want to create opportunities to spark meaningful conversations, to encourage collaboration, and of course, to inspire change. Our work at NBCDI revolves around our 8 essential outcomes. These outcomes are essential to ensuring that Black children, like all children, are healthy, thriving, and have a joyful development. Today's conversation will focus primarily on ensuring Black children have access to a safe and appropriate experience on the internet through digital safety and joyful content. I'd love to take a few seconds just to talk about this really awesome, exciting, joyful partnership that we have with Google. So in celebration of Black History Month, NBCDI has partnered with Google to curate a collection of high-quality, teacher-approved apps. And as someone who is a former teacher, I take that very seriously, teacher-approved apps. In particular, the apps are designed to build kids' sense of confidence, inclusion, and belonging. Children can find creative ways to learn and express themselves, affirming who they are and who they can be while learning about influential Black figures throughout history. The activities featured in these apps also have a special focus on family engagement, encouraging parents and other loved ones to play and learn along with their kids. Each app is connected to one of NBCDI's 8 essential outcomes. To coincide with the launch of the apps collection, NBCDI also partnered with the YouTube Kids team to create a guest picks playlist of apps called I'm Safe, I'm Healthy, and I'm Loved, which includes a set of videos that align with one or more of the 8 essential outcomes. And there's a link to the outcomes and to the apps in the chat. Finally, given that one of the outcomes, of course, focuses on the encouragement for children to hang out on a safe and appropriate internet, NBCDI is looking forward to amplifying awareness of Google's Be Internet Awesome curriculum and complementary resources. I am so excited for this conversation, so excited to have Jane Park, who is the Senior Content Strategist for Google Kids and Families, and Brooke Sedon, who is the Brand Marketing Manager for Google, to join me in this awesome, wonderful conversation. And now I'm going to invite Jane and Brooke to introduce themselves and share a word or two about your work.
Well, thank you, Dr. Austin. Thank you, Allison. So delighted and honored to be here with you and our audience today. I am the Senior Content Strategist of Google Kids and Families, where I work with an incredibly passionate and dedicated team to create high quality online experiences for kids and families here in the US and around the world. And in my role, I drive content partnerships with product teams across Google and work with wonderful external partners like NBCDI and others to light up fun, engaging, and enriching experiences that really meet the core developmental needs of children while supporting parents and educators with tools to help navigate the online world. I previously served as a director of Too Small to Fail, the early childhood initiative at the Clinton Foundation, where I was thrilled to start working with NBCDI and get familiar with all the incredible work that you all do. And hosted some fun events there and had some great experiences with Allison. And at the Clinton Foundation, leading partnerships with businesses and associations to scale national public awareness and action campaigns to support kids' early brain and language development. And prior to that role, I was the director of content at Sesame Street and worked with a team to develop the whole child curriculum on which the television series was based. I'm also a child of first-generation immigrants from Korea who actually learned English watching Sesame Street, and a mom of an 11-year-old, a 13-year-old, and our sweet dog Lucy, also a bunny named Lavender. So it's a full house. Great to be here with all of you today.
Love it. Hi all, I'm Brooke Seaton. Very, very honored to be here today. Thank you so much for setting this up and for our continued wonderful partnership. I work on our privacy, safety, and security marketing team, but focusing on how we keep all of our users safe online, particularly kids and families who we know are often at higher risk when it comes to digital and online safety. I get to do a lot of work with our products, our partners, and our programs to help keep and empower kids to be safe online. So really excited to be here today and share some of our tools and resources and connect with all of you. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you both for being here. And we are obviously having this important conversation with the right people. So excited to jump right on in. So I want to take us back to 2021, if we don't mind going back there, and share a stat that will probably resonate with the majority of us, whether we are parents, educators, wherever we fall in the spectrum. We remember that in 2021, about 58% of elementary school students remained fully remote, primarily working on schoolwork at home and online. But I, Jane, have a 9-year-old. So I know that in addition to schoolwork, there was also a lot of play. Their play was also happening online as well. And so now more than ever, digital safety is a key component of learning and of our children's lives, quite frankly. And so want to engage you all in 3 questions that are going to kind of set the stage for the presentations that Jane and Brooke will share with us in the next few minutes. So let me read those questions to you so that our audience is really clear the direction we're headed in. First question, how can we use digital platforms and content to provide global education opportunities for children, especially children of color? How can parents, educators, and caregivers see the applications, the video content, and other technology as a valuable tool rather than something to fear? And lastly, as parents, sometimes we find that the responsibility of keeping children safe in the digital space falls on us. But we also want to hear what's the role and responsibility of tech companies and how do we work together to ensure that children are safe online? I'll turn it over to you, Jane, to get us started.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Austin. And thank you for setting the stage with the stat. And, personally and professionally, I actually started my role at Google in the height of the pandemic. And part of that was also just driven by really seeing and reading and working closely with educators and organizations who are really working to create access to digital content, digital tools and materials during the pandemic, but also at home, being home with my kids, who were in school, attending classes remotely and seeing all of those challenges and being very curious, but also concerned as a parent and as an educator myself, and really exploring kind of the role that technology can play to really support kids and families during this time. So I wanted to just start, and thank you for all of those great questions. Taking a step back to our approach at Google, and our three principles as we approach kids, teens, and families. The first, and these are just baseline measures, is to protect. We're focused on protecting kids and teens from bad actors, bad actions online, encouraging access to age-appropriate content, and supporting the agency of kids and teens over their data, and making sure that their data is private and secure. Secondly, everything that we do is designed to respect. So begins with really respecting the different backgrounds of children, of their diverse experiences, and also their developmental differences across ages. We know, and Dr. Austin is an educator, we know that 5-year-olds are very different from 8-year-olds, and huge differences between, that age group and 9 to 12-year-olds and then teens. And so we've been really focused on tools that offer choice and flexibility to really respect our users at these different milestones of their lives and their relationship with technology. And then finally, and this is where our team is really focused, where we create experiences that are really created to empower kids and teens and families, to make sure that our products are easily navigable for them, promoting agency through age-appropriate opportunities for them to express themselves, connect, and really foster opportunities for them to learn and to set their imaginations free to discover and really unlock the potential of kids to thrive and and learn through their through their online experiences. So that's just a brief overview of our key principles, and now I'll hand it over to Brooke to dig a little bit deeper into our work around online safety.
Thanks, Jane. We can go to the next slide. Oh, maybe the one after this. Thank you. Thanks. So as Dr. Austin mentioned, we know that technology continues to grow around us, and we have to mold the different types of relationships that we have with tech and set boundaries and expectations for healthy online behavior with our families. But as the question was posed, how do we do this? You can go to the next slide, please. I know that many of us will remember what it's like to actually not grow up with a computer or even access to the internet. And kids today have a very different experience. They're the first generation with constant access to the internet. And I think a lot of these stats actually speak for themselves. As you can see, majority of kids have their own smartphone by the age of 11. Next slide, please. And with this constant access to devices and the internet, of course, this is a whole set of new challenges for parents. I'm sure many of you want to experience your kids to experience the best of what technology has to offer. And kids don't always know how to do that in a safe and positive way, and oftentimes need our help. So we hear from parents that they need help in 3 areas typically. First, helping kids stay safe online. Second, finding the tools to manage their kids' time online. And third, helping them find high quality content for kids. So we'll share some solutions and product across Google and YouTube that can help in each of these areas. Before we dig in, I want to share a little bit more about how we think about kids and families at Google. Building off of what Jane said, we believe that technology can actually be a force for good for kids, and it opens up a world of possibility and access for them to learn new things that can inspire them to discover even more. They can find content, activities that fuel their passions and interests, and possibly even drive new ones. There's so much for kids to discover online, and we're excited to share about how our products can help. As you can go to the next slide, please. Thanks. As technology is rapidly evolving, there's also different needs of kids as it evolves, different developmental stages that are vastly different in different age bands, demographics, etc. And we want to make sure that we're building the best products and solutions for our young users. So this starts actually with partnering with experts in the field, including educators. We also will partner with different organizations to conduct research and gather feedback and learning so that we can build solutions that reflect the developmental needs of children. This approach also allows us to continue to evolve and iterate our resources and products. So really great partners such as this one. So thank you all again. Okay, moving on, would love to share a little bit more, focusing on how we can keep kids in your care safer online. Next slide, please. Go after this. So we have this program called Be Internet Awesome, and the goal, next slide, please, is actually to help teach students about online safety and citizenship. So we created this program, Be Internet Awesome, which is an online program designed to help kids be safe, confident online explorers. It's available for free worldwide in 39 countries and 18 languages. So for everyone calling in, I saw someone from Germany, saw someone in Costa Rica. This content within this program is device and brand app agnostic. So the lessons learned here can be applied wherever kids choose to explore online and really will help with the basic fundamentals of digital citizenship. So we worked with several experts and educators that I mentioned to develop this program, and it's endorsed by family safety experts and aligned with education standards. So it teaches 5 pillars. Go to the next slide, please. And those pillars are be internet smart, share with care, be internet alert, don't fall for fake, be internet strong, secure your secrets, be internet kind, it's cool to be kind, and be internet brave. When in doubt, talk it out. And we'll dip a little bit deeper into each of these. But we're really proud to share that this program has also been awarded the Seal of Alignment by ISTE, which is the International Society for Technology and Education. So starting off with share with care on the next slide, it's all about be internet smart. Teaches kids about their online footprint and online reputation and how to communicate with others in a responsible way. This is incredibly important as we continue to build larger digital footprints with social media and how we carry ourselves online. The second lesson is don't fall for fake. On the next slide, please. Thank you. This is all about being internet alert. So kids can learn to identify the signs of a potential scam, think critically before acting online, and really be discerning when consuming content. The third lesson, secure your secrets. This is all about being internet strong. So in this lesson, kids learn about protecting their personal information, building strong passwords, and what they really should and shouldn't be sharing online. The fourth lesson is it's cool to be kind. This is my personal favorite. It's all about being kind and, of course, teaching kids about the positive ability to share kindness online. It also talks about how and when to support those being bullied or when the online conversation isn't always as positive as we'd like it to be. And the last, fifth lesson is when in doubt, talk it out or be internet brave. While the internet can be an amazing place for kids to learn and create and have fun, we also want to make sure that they know how to turn to an adult they trust when it comes to something that they come across that maybe makes them feel unsafe or uncomfortable. So we recognize that teaching kids to be safe and confident online isn't something that one group alone can just solve, and it shouldn't just fall on parents. Our approach to tackle this, as you can see on the next slide, is from all audience. So we'll bring kids, parents, and educators together to actively learn and participate in this conversation. And these conversations aren't easy. Based on our research, we know that parents and educators don't feel like they have the knowledge to teach digital citizenship skills to their students and kids. But like all other parts of parenting, it takes a village. So we are able to arm educators, parents, and kids with the resources that are made just for them. So to start off with educators, I know we probably have some teachers in the room. When we asked educators about teaching digital citizenship, only 47% said that online safety is not part of their school's curriculum. And 96% say that teaching online safety should be included. However, 84% say they actually don't even have the resources to teach online safety. So that's where Be Internet Awesome comes in. On the next slide, you can see that for teachers, we've worked with the I Keep Safe Coalition to develop an entire curriculum with lesson plans for educators to use in schools and relay these pillars. We've tested them in schools across the United States and have heard great feedback from educators and students. To make it easier, we've partnered with Pear Deck to create ready-to-teach interactive presentations for teachers. This is available for free and allows them to control the pace of the lesson, engage and interact with students throughout the lesson, and then share the completed lessons with students and parents via Google Drive. In addition to the online lesson plans, we offer printable offline activities, and these help make digital safety knowledge accessible and also fun, because we recognize that a lot of teachers and parents don't always have access to the internet at school. You can also interact with these lessons at home. And then finally, to reinforce the lessons taught and celebrate being internet awesome, we've created additional resources like posters and pledges and games for teachers to play with the students in the classroom. Okay, and then next, as we make the content specifically just for kids, we've actually built, on the next slide, one more. For kids, we've built Interland, which is a free adventure-packed game that lets kids put the fundamental lessons of being internet awesome into practice in a way that they enjoy learning. So we have a little video trailer that we can play to show you a bit about Interland. Awesome. It's a really fun one. Mindful Mountain always is my favorite level, and they're challenging, but fun. But they're really fun to play with your kids. And I think also, as you can see in the video, Interland takes kids through these 4 adventures, each of which teaches a lesson aligning with overall curriculum. So really helps make learning this content and information fun. Oops. Apologies. Okay. And finally, let's talk about parents, many of you, and what resources we have. Awesome. So we want to encourage parents to discuss these digital safety topics at home, and we know that it isn't an easy topic to approach, and parents often don't feel prepared or know where to start. So we've created several resources that you can see on the next slide that can help. So first, being a family guide that reinforces the lessons that kids will actually learn in school. Next slide, please. And quick tips that about online safety and safety vocabulary that can guide the conversations and help start the conversation at home. And then finally, we also have a family pledge that parents and kids can make together, and this encourages the entire family to be involved, and then also personalize the pledge to what makes sense to each family's needs. On the next slide, it's exciting to see that we're actually expanding this curriculum with some of our trusted partners. So most recently, we have launched Be Internet Awesome special edition content with Highlights Magazine. So we partnered with them on a special edition magazine that is available digitally for free. And you can go through the Be Internet Awesome curriculum through their fun, engaging educational puzzles, crafts, short stories, etc., that kids might already know and love. And then in addition, we also built out more fun activities for families and educators to explore the pillars of Be Internet Awesome. And we'll share more about where you can access these resources going forward. So yes, the 2 links are g.co/beinternetawesome and then highlights.com/internetsafety if you're interested about the highlights content. And I'm sure we'll share these out as well. Okay. Shifting a bit to talk about finding the right balance for your family. Every family is different. And while kids are constantly exposed to the internet and technology, it's important to have the flexibility to set your own digital ground rules that work for your family. So Family Link is really our hero product for this. It's a parental controls app that helps parents guide their kids as they explore online and create balance that many families desire. It's a great tool for parents, and we hope that it gives them a set of tools and resources to kickstart productive conversations about how to best use technology. It's available on both iOS and Android and desktop. So on the next slide, you can see some of the hero features. It helps parents keep an eye on online activity, manage screen time, enforce age-appropriate settings. It also helps includes features that help you to manage content and apps, set screen time devices, even a device bedtime, and also see your child's physical location when they have their device on them. We recognize that setting parental controls isn't always easy or straightforward, and that parents always know, don't always know, apologies, that parents aren't always around when their kids are on their devices. So that's why we offer these age-appropriate guidance for our settings and default protections across many of our products. And this allows parents to do what is best fit for their family, including limiting location sharing, applying content filters, and often setting the most secure privacy setting. Thank you. I think I'll now pass it off to Dr. Austin.
Before we pass it to Dr. Austin, I just want to jump in, and I know I'm throwing things a bit, but there was a really good question in the chat. And at NBCDI, we really value the voices of our audience and the folks that are engaged with us. And so Grayling Wall asked a really interesting question about Interland. It says, are kids going to have time to read all those words? Should there also be audio to the words? And is there also audio to the words?
Amazing. Thank you so much for your question. Yes, there is audio with the words. The trailer itself does not have voiceover, which I agree it should. And thank you for that note. But yes, the game itself does have audio associated with it and is built to be accessible for our kids. So,
Brooke, thank you so much for answering that question. Dr.
Yeah, no, thank you for jumping in, and thank you for the question, and encourage folks to continue to add questions and comments and reactions in the chat. That's what you're here for. This isn't, set up to be just a passive presentation where you're just listening, but we also want your voices brought into the conversation. Brooke, thank you so much. Wow, so much information. I have to say, I found myself taking off like president and CEO hat and definitely putting on parent of a 9-year-old hat and like going through the Be Internet Awesome rubric. And I'm like, okay, how awesome are we? Are we doing all the things we should be doing? But no, it's really, really, really wonderful to hear the tidbits and the nuggets, and just quite frankly, to know how many resources and tools are out there. Because of course, being a parent, being an educator, the many roles that we play, it can be really overwhelming to understand exactly what's out there that can help you and just make your job easier. And so it's really nice to be able to have taken this time to hear from you in terms of what's exactly out there. Also loved Mindfulness Mountain, but I had to say I wrote down sinking fishes and just put a little happy face because I thought that was super, super cute. And love what you said about technology really being a vehicle to ignite kids' passion and learning. I think that's exactly why we want to make sure they're safe, so that we can get to that good part, the good part of using technology to really ignite their passion and their learning. And I certainly see this with my son. I see this with the questions he asks me, the discussions and topics that he wants to have. But Jane, I want to ask you a question, because a lot of times I know my son, just like many children, are online kind of on their own by themselves, whether they're on whatever device they may be on. And he actually does not have a phone, so I'm not showing him the stat about so many kids having phones by 11. Right. Take that out of the slide deck. But Jane, want to ask you, tell us a little bit more about how Google is actually guiding kids towards this high quality content, especially through the teacher approved program.
Absolutely. And I can totally relate with you, Dr. Austin, and I'm sure, other parents, caregivers, educators, really anyone caring for kids can relate. But my kids do spend a significant time online on their devices, whether it's at home, school, at friends' houses. And as a parent, you can't always be there to monitor. And I want to make sure that any time they're spending online on their devices is quality time with quality content. And so, in addition to the online safety training and parental controls and some of the tools that Brooke shared about, we also have several products that can really help guide not just kids, but also parents towards age appropriate, high quality. And Dr. Austin and Allison, channeling you, but not just content that's age appropriate, but also just joyful, right? Something that's going to bring them delight and also connect family members around the content that they're engaging with. As we think about content, one of the quotes that comes to mind for me that I love to share is from Joan Gans Cooney. If we can go to the next slide, she's a founder and creator of Sesame Street. And she said, it's not whether children learn from television, it's what they're learning, because everything that they see on television is teaching them something. And when Sesame Street debuted, I'm sure we can all count the number of TV channels we had access to on one hand, right? We click that dial. But today in the digital world, there are endless options for apps and videos and books around any topic or genre that kids and families can access anywhere. So as the landscape of tech has really changed significantly, it continues to evolve. I think this message still rings true today, whether it's an app or a video or any type of online content. They're learning something from all these forms of technology. And the question is what? So one of the priorities on our team, on the content team, is to help all kids and families use digital platforms and engage with content that really affirms their experiences and identities at different ages, and especially, Dr. Austin, to your question before, children of color. So if we go to the next slide, I'm sure we've all heard or read about this before from Rudine Sims Bishop, but we really anchor ourselves in this research that children develop a sense of self-identity, meaning what they believe or understand about who they are, their relationships and their abilities, really starting at an early age. And self-identity is largely shaped by their relationships, their social connections, societal influences, and part of this is the media content that they're exposed to that's always sending them a message about who they are or maybe who they're not, or and they're all sending them a message about something. And so that's why kids can really benefit from content that serves as both mirrors that allows kids themselves to see themselves and their own experiences reflected, but also windows that offer kids a glimpse of worlds and cultures and experiences that are different from their own. And so those are the two things that we really think about as we curate content experiences for kids and families. Next slide. And we're always listening to our users, and especially parents and others who are caring for kids. And one thing that we've consistently heard from parents, and as I mentioned before, and as we can all relate to, there's just endless options for apps and videos and content out there. And we've been hearing that parents often struggle to really sort through the abundance of apps and options available and really find the ones that are truly high quality for their kids and meets their needs. And really supports the goal of parents. And so in the next slide, we created the Google's Teacher Approved program with Google Play, which is in Google's App Store. And we launched this, you can click on the Kids tab of this page, and here you'll find teacher approved apps, which means that they've gone through extensive review by teachers who have child development expertise in evaluating content. And then on the next slide, you'll see here content principles for teacher approved, really focus on enriching high quality and trustworthy content. And these principles are shared with app developers to really help guide them in the content that they're creating to meet our quality bar. Along with these principles, we partnered with experts in the education field to develop this rating system, and since then have trained hundreds of teachers to use these ratings to vet our content. The next slide. So teacher raters are assigned apps based on the age band that they're most familiar with, and they rate app quality on 5 criteria. The first is word and sound design, interaction design, visual design, appeal, and enrichment. So they're evaluating the apps across all of these dimensions. And this really helps ensure that the apps are designed and appropriate for what kids are able to understand, what appeals to their interests, and what they're able to navigate at different ages. One of the most, I'm going to say joyful is the word of the day, but one of the most joyful parts of my work and our team's work on the Teacher Approved program is curating content around interests and topics and moments that really are relevant and current and critical to kids and families, as well as partnering with organizations like NBCDI to develop guest curations of apps around moments that are important to kids and families and really to the world. And so we've been thrilled and really thankful to partner with NBCDI, next slide, to create a guest collection of apps to celebrate inclusion and belonging, and develop a cluster of just these phenomenal high quality apps that affirm kids' identities and who they are. And I will now hand it over to Allison, our incredible partner in creating this guest collection of apps for Black History Month.
Yes, this is the fun part. This is the
Yes.
exciting part. I'm excited. Because we are really grateful for the opportunity to use our voice and add insight around these apps that are designed to really help build our baby's sense of confidence, belonging. We really worked hard to find teacher-approved apps where children can have creative ways to learn, express themselves, feel affirmed in who they are and can be while they're learning alongside a parent. And so that is the focus of all of the apps in our collection. Whether they're working with the parent, educator, or caregiver, each app is uniquely connected to one of our 8 essential outcomes that Dr. Austin talked about. And so the first and only app that you'll notice when you go to our website and you're looking at resources is the one that's called the Wolomi app. And that is an app that was connected to our outcome around maternal and infant health. And that one is not teacher approved because it is designed for an adult. And so the Wolomi app is really dope though, because it allows for expecting mothers, especially Black mothers. So it's very catered to Black mothers, and they can download this app and connect to a community. They can have conversations about their experience in that community, what they're experiencing as they're going through this really important and beautiful journey. They're able to undergo mental health screenings in that app, speak with experts like pediatricians, and hear from trained doulas and midwives. It's just a really great app. So that's the one that we have focused on health. And that's the only one, again, that's not teacher approved because it is designed for adults. And then the other one, the outcome that's really centered around education. And that one is that children are able to attend a school that affirms and expands them. This is a fun one. This is the Lego Duplo World app. And it's designed to really promote toddler and preschool learning in some really core domains that we have seen across Head Starts, across many of the programs that you guys that are on work in. And so it does cover and touch a lot of those. But there's an entire section for parents which is really important. And again, we wanted to have apps where families could go on this journey together, this fun, this joyful, the word of the day, journey together. And so Lego Duplo World really allows for that. There is also opportunities to create and do so many fun things in that space. And there's also some representation in that space as you're creating different things. So we really enjoyed looking at and kind of testing, even though we were playing it, testing the Lego Duplo app. So that's a great one. In the space of nutrition, this one is exciting because this app, it's called Our Special Island. It's really developed and designed to inspire better eating habits for children, right? So I know as parents, we're trying to do better, set a great example. But there are some cases where it's like, no vegetables, not feeling fruit. Well, this particular app really encourages, hey, this is an opportunity for you to learn about something new, try something that's nutritious and tasty. And so it really kind of highlights all of the positive pieces of different fruits and vegetables. Is really interactive and fun. It also incorporates some cultural practices, which of course, that's what makes NBCDI different, right? We always make sure everything is culturally relevant and celebratory. And so this app does exactly that. And then it also connects children to really identifying and learning how to prepare some of these nutritious fruits and vegetables. So that's the one that we selected for nutrition. And then as we were thinking about content safety and digital safety, there were a lot of teacher approved apps to choose from. So I would encourage you to take a look. But the one that we selected, interestingly enough, was a screen-free app, and that is Pinna. Pinna is the only screen-free and ad-free audio streaming app made for children. There's a ton of podcast episodes. There are like music, audiobooks, other things, entertaining and kind of educational as well. Content that children can really kind of go into. I know I listened to audiobooks as a child, but you can go into your imagination and see things kind of playing out. It's a really interesting app. And of course, all developmentally appropriate, teacher approved, and it's a really great app to kind of put your child with while you're doing something for a couple of minutes. So that was the one that we went ahead and identified in that space. Then for representation, I don't know if any of you have, been shopping for crayons and markers lately, but Crayola has these brand new collections of browns, neutral, and nude colors. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful, so that we can finally color and draw in our skin tones. We don't have to mix 7 colors to get our skin tones anymore. And so Crayola has developed that. And so it sparked my interest to see, well, what is this app that they have all about? And it's very similar in that we've got finally, we have this opportunity for our babies to see themselves as they're drawing, as they're creating. And it's called the Crayola Color Camera. And I won't go on and on because we don't have a lot of time. But what I will say is you can create your own coloring pages. You can upload a photo of yourself to get the color that matches. I mean, it's awesome. So that's the one focus for representation. And then for climate, the Earth Cubs is a really, really fun app. Again, just focusing on children being able to understand what's going on in the ecosystem. What are some things I should be thinking about? What threatens this earth, and what can I do about it? And they can learn a lot about that through this Earth Cubs app. Our friends, our partners at Sesame Street, as y'all know, have an amazing app. If you want to watch the webinar we just had with Sesame Street in January, you can do that on our website, nbcdi.org, and go to Virtual Learning Series resources. But similar to our partnership with Sesame, they have this amazing content that really helps tell stories, positive stories around who children are and being seen as children, and really being able to show videos and content and a ton of age appropriate research backed materials encouraging the brilliance of children by just simply being children. And so, of course, we have the Sesame Street app for that one. And then finally, we have a really fun app that's connected to our Safe Communities outcome, and that is called Neighborhood Good. That allows kids to take on the role of a community organizer. Like they literally have a virtual neighborhood and they're able to come up with solutions for issues in their community. And so we've got these amazing parents and educators who are advocates. This app really encourages our children to be advocates. And so by tomorrow morning, you all will see this graphic. You all will be able to download this PDF and share it with your networks. And that's all.
Allison, can I just share how amazing it is to like as a team being so like passionate and excited about this work, but then also to have a partner now weigh in on the content and like see this content from just from a different perspective.
Yeah, no,
This
we
is
appreciate it. And
thrilled.
we're
Yeah.
excited to deepen the relationship.
Yeah.
Like we can say publicly now that we have this partnership, but we're really excited to deepen this partnership because having allies at a place like Google is very important. It's important to you all, right? Because, you know, people
Absolutely.
patronize Google, right? But it's also very special and important to us. So thank you for
Thank
that
you.
opportunity.
And Allison, there was a question here. Did the educators experts evaluate the effectiveness for Black learners to see themselves in the characters introduced in these apps? So you touched on it through Crayola and others, but just wanted to see if you wanted to add to that question.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know all the educators that evaluated these apps. So we want to be transparent about that, right? But what I do want to say is we were able to clearly see it in each of these apps we selected, and we really appreciated that. But honestly, Jane, I do want to toss it back to you just for a moment to kind of think about, and this is something we're happy to help with as partners, but to think about when we're going through teacher approved apps and saying, this is what makes this app teacher approved. Is representation one of the categories that we're considering, that we're adding, or that, again, you might need partnership on to like really help think through?
Yeah, we would love to have that kind of thought partnership with an organization like NBCDI. Just we're always looking for ways to expand the work and deepen our work and our partnerships and yes, representation is one of the categories that our raters and our teachers are looking at. But with that said, there's always room for growth and improvement, and we would love to be on that journey with all of you. So
That's it.
all right, here we go.
All right, but that's
All
it.
right,
That's it. We're excited.
wonderful. Well, I'm excited because there's even more we want to share with all of you, more tools, more resources, and so I'm going to hand it over now to back to Brooke to share. Now we've talked about apps. One thing that came to mind was that when I was at Sesame, we created a segment called "There's an App for That," and as you were talking, as parents and educators, there's so many different topics and curriculum areas that we're trying to address, and chances are there's an app for that, just like you covered, Allison, whether it's nutrition, literacy, digital safety, the creativity. There's an app for all of these. So our hope is that these apps can just be a supportive resource for teachers and educators and parents trying to share learning and all of these areas. So, okay, I'll hand it over to Brooke now to now transition from apps to videos.
Awesome. Thanks, Jane. Yes, if there's not an app for it, there's probably a video.
Yes.
And it is probably also on YouTube, which is what we're going to talk about next, YouTube Kids. For YouTube, I'll skip quickly because I know we don't have much time, but it's where exploration starts. And if you go to the next couple slides, we believe that kids of all ages can discover new interests on YouTube, and that they can uncover these passions. If it's about drumming, we apologize, or anything that's not as soundproof, but any interest that a kid might have, hopefully that they can pursue that and find that on YouTube. We're also really proud, next slide, we're also really proud of the platform that we can showcase diverse perspectives, acting as a window to help kids learn about other identities and cultures and foods, music, etc., and make the world more accessible. And that's especially important in these times where maybe travel isn't as within reach, or there's a whole world outside of the world that the kid might live in. We also try to foster a sense of belonging. When it comes to kids' media, it's important that we act as both a window and a mirror, making sure kids not only get exposure to the world in which they live in, but also that they see themselves in what they watch. Whether that's videos celebrating pride with our teen audience, videos showing kids different abilities, competing in sports, different race and religion, different structures for younger kids, or even simply as someone who looks like you, seeing someone that looks like you on screen. So there's so many incredible things for people to learn, people to hear from, and stories to be told on YouTube. And we've spent the last couple years digging deeper into what these video experiences can look like for families. On the next slide, or the slide after that even, when we think about youth, we're thinking about several very disparate user groups and experiences. We know there's a big difference between a 4-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 16-year-old, and they all have very different developmental stages that they're in. So how we support this is we are always, there's constant, the one constant in these different stages is that parental input, support, and guidance is critical. And so that's why we consider parents a fourth audience that we should consider when developing our products. On the next slide, you'll see quickly that we also, of course, are working with our partners. And then skipping along, we do have different offerings for different age groups. So whether it's YouTube Kids for the younger kiddos, supervised experiences for maybe our tweens, and then we have built-in protections for teens who are actually on YouTube. I'll hand it off to Jane now to talk about more of the younger kids offerings.
Great. Thank you, Brooke. If we can go to the next slide. The next slide, yeah, I am just in the sake of time, we're going to share just a little bit about our approach to younger kids and YouTube Kids. We have 3 guiding developmental characteristics for young kids. They're newfound strong sense of curiosity, sometimes in the form of why, right? Repeatedly. They're still developing bodies and minds, which means they may not have perfected using these devices, clicking to the right buttons, or reading, and their need for help along the way. Next slide. So with these characteristics in mind, a recommended experience for young kids is a separate standalone YouTube Kids app, and really built from the ground up specifically for this age group. It's a safer, filtered down video library with distinct categories for discovery. I'm going to actually skip over to slide 56 and share a little bit about our the high quality content principles for YouTube Kids, because we want to get into the good stuff around the playlist that we've partnered on. So we're really proud to have launched these high quality principles for kids and family content, partnering with child development experts to publish these high and low quality principles, really with the goal to encourage the creation of enriching videos for kids. So this includes being a good person, learning, inspiring curiosity, creativity, play, imagination, interaction with real world issues, and DEI. So these are really the principles in which we curate and create content experiences on YouTube Kids. And with all of these principles in mind, we were thrilled to partner not just on apps curation, but also on this guest picks playlist. And so I'm going to hand it over now to Allison to share more about this playlist that we're thrilled to launch for Black History Month.
Yes, and we only have a couple minutes, so I'm going to skim through this and let you all know that you can visit our website. I think Raven already put it in the chat, so that you can see this playlist and really experience each of these amazing videos. Our team developed, we went through all these videos and we developed and put together and curated some really great content that highlights our 8 essential outcomes, but they also are linked to fun, music, healthy eating, celebration, community, internet safety, and representation. And one of my favorite videos that truly captures a heartwarming short story that encompasses the themes of acceptance and narrative around positive self-image is called The Reflection in Me. And though we do not have time to play it, as soon as you all are done, go over to our playlist, share it with your friends, share it with your networks, and also play The Reflection in Me. If you just have time to watch one video, that should be the one. It's a really good one. But we are so grateful for this opportunity. We are so grateful for all of you joining us. We want to make sure that, after every interaction that we are taking action. And so again, today and tomorrow morning, you will see social posts about sharing all of this information, sharing about this exciting partnership. And then tomorrow morning, you will see resources on the page that's in the chat on NBCDI's website. Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Dr. Austin,
You.
for this important conversation.